At the close of the 16th century, Europe was a continent tearing itself apart. For the small Dutch Republic, it was a desperate fight for survival. Born from the flames of rebellion against the mighty Spanish Empire, the Dutch were cornered, their lands flooded, their towns besieged. Spanish armies marched across the Low Countries, leaving a trail of fire and ruin. Yet, amidst the chaos of this 80-year war for independence, a new kind of power was about to be forged, not on the battlefield, but on the high seas. Out of the ashes of war, Amsterdam began to rise. Its shipyards hammered day and night, its canals choked with barges, its markets overflowing with goods from across the globe. But one prize remained tantalizingly out of reach: the fabled spice trade of the East Indies. This lucrative network was a monopoly, fiercely guarded by the Dutch Republic's mortal enemies, Spain and Portugal. To break their stranglehold was not just a matter of profit, it was a matter of national survival. Dutch merchants, bold and ambitious, gathered in smoke-filled taverns, poring over secret maps and dreaming of a direct route to the source of the world's most valuable commodities. In the candle-lit chambers of power, a radical idea took shape. Visionary statesman Johan van Oldenbarnevelt brought together the rival merchant factions of the Netherlands. He argued that their scattered, competing voyages were inefficient and weak. To challenge the Iberian empires, they needed to unite. Around a heavy oak table sat the men who would become the feared and respected Heren 17, the 17 Gentlemen. These powerful directors from Amsterdam, Zeeland, and other trading cities hammered out a revolutionary agreement, laying the groundwork for an enterprise the world had never seen before. On March 20th, 1602, the Dutch government granted a charter that would change history. The United East India Company, or VOC, was born. It was far more than just a trading company. It was granted an astonishing monopoly on all Dutch trade east of the Cape of Good Hope. It was given the power to wage war, to sign treaties with foreign rulers, to build fortresses, and even to mint its own currency. For the first time ever, the company's capital was open to the public. Ordinary citizens, from wealthy merchants to humble artisans, flocked to the newly formed Amsterdam Stock Exchange to buy shares, becoming part owners of this grand venture. The world's first multinational corporation, fueled by the world's first modern stock market, was ready to set sail. An armada of revolutionary ships, the efficient and spacious flights, alongside the heavily armed East Indiamen, embarked on perilous journeys that spanned half the globe. They braved treacherous storms rounding the Cape of Good Hope, establishing a vital outpost that would one day become Cape Town. They sailed onward to the bustling ports of India, the shores of Sri Lanka, and into the heart of the Spice Islands. They established a formidable headquarters at Batavia, modern-day Jakarta, a Dutch fortress city in the heart of Asia. From there, they projected their power, trading for cloves, nutmeg, and pepper, but also for Chinese silk, Japanese silver, and Indian textiles. An unprecedented river of wealth began to flow back to the Netherlands, transforming the small republic into a global economic powerhouse. The VOC's influence radiated across the continents. In Indonesia, it systematically dismantled local kingdoms and imposed its will, fundamentally reshaping the archipelago's economy and society for centuries to come. In Japan, under the strict Sakoku policy, the Dutch were the only Europeans permitted to trade, confined to the artificial island of Dejima in Nagasaki Harbor, providing Japan its only window to the Western world. In the great game of empires, the VOC clashed fiercely with its English counterpart, the English East India Company, sparking conflicts that would define the future of colonial Asia. The concepts it pioneered, publicly traded shares, corporate personhood, and global supply chains, laid the very foundations of modern capitalism, spreading from Amsterdam to the rest of the world. But this golden age was built on a dark foundation. The VOC's monopoly was not won through peaceful trade alone. It was secured through brutal colonial warfare, the subjugation of local populations, and the ruthless elimination of any and all competition. The infamous massacre on the Banda Islands serves as a chilling example, where the local population was virtually wiped out to secure absolute control over the world's only source of nutmeg. Life aboard the company's ships was a grueling ordeal, marked by iron discipline, disease, and staggering mortality rates. The pursuit of profit overran all other considerations, and the immense wealth that flooded into Dutch coffers was paid for with the blood and freedom of countless people across Asia and Africa. At its zenith in the mid-17th century, the VOC was, without exaggeration, the most powerful corporation in history. Its private army and navy were larger than those of many European nations. At its peak, the company was worth more than Apple, Google, and Amazon combined in today's money. The Dutch Golden Age was a direct result of this corporate might. Amsterdam's canals were lined with the opulent mansions of unimaginably wealthy merchants. Warehouses bulged with exotic goods from the East. Artists like Rembrandt and Vermeer were patronized by a newly rich society, capturing the era's prosperity on canvas. The VOC was a state within a state, a corporate titan that dominated global trade and commanded the oceans. But no empire lasts forever. By the 18th century, the colossus began to falter. A toxic combination of corruption and mismanagement rotted the company from within. Directors enriched themselves at the company's expense, and the once efficient administration grew bloated and slow. Fierce competition, particularly from the ascendant British Empire, eroded its monopolies. A series of costly wars with England drained its treasury and crippled its fleets. The world was changing, and the VOC, once a revolutionary force, failed to adapt. Weighed down by massive debt, the company was nationalized in 1796 and declared bankrupt just a few years later, its charter expiring at the dawn of a new century. Though the company itself is long gone, its legacy is embedded in the fabric of our modern world. It is visible in the canals of Amsterdam, in the legal frameworks of international corporations, and in the bustling financial centers of London and New York. The global trade routes it carved, the economic systems it pioneered, and the political lines it drew on the map continue to influence us to this day. The Dutch East India Company did not just trade goods, it reshaped the world. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past interesting, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more stories that shaped our history.